that there's anything wrong with that. I saw Daddy tickle Santa Claus underneath his beard so snowy white. I couldn't make a noise, never would have thought that he liked boys. It seems that he's much further in the closet than my toys. Kissing Santa Claus. It's a three-way tonight. I tell you it was rough seeing Mama's finger cuffs. Maybe this year since Dad is queer I'll get some better stuff. Not that there's anything wrong with there's anything wrong with that. I saw Daddy kissing Santa Claus. I saw Daddy kissing Santa Claus. I saw Daddy kissing Santa Claus.
This
presents and I'd be glad. But the last time I played Father Christmas, I stood outside a department store. A gang of kids came over and mugged me and knocked my reindeer to the floor. He said, Father Christmas, give us some money. Don't mess around with those silly toys. We'll beat you up if you don't hand it over. We want your bread, so don't make us annoy. Give all the toys to the little rich boys. Don't give my brother a Steve Austin outfit. Don't give my sister a cuddly toy. We don't want a jigsaw or Monopoly money. We only want the real McCoy. Father Christmas, give us some money. We'll beat you up if you make us annoyed. Father Christmas, give us some money. Don't mess around with those silly toys. But give my daddy a job cause he needs one. He's got lots of mouths to feed. But if you've got one, I have a machine gun, so I can scare all the kids on the street. Father Christmas, give us some money. We got no time for your silly toys. We'll beat you up if you don't hand it over. We want your bread, so don't make us annoyed. Give all the toys to the little rich boys. Have yourself a merry, merry Christmas. Have yourself a good time. But remember the kids who got nothing while you're drinking down your wine. Father Christmas, give us some money. We got no time for your silly toys. toys. Father Christmas, please hand it over. We'll beat you up, so don't make us annoyed. Father Christmas, give us some money. Don't mess around with those silly toys. We'll beat you up, don't hand it over. We want your bread, so don't make us annoyed. Give all the toys to the little rich boy.
I'm dreaming of a white, only Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where no one looks different, are restricted, and blacks aren't allowed to go. Dreaming of a whites-only Christmas, with every Christmas card I write. May your days be merry and bright, and may your Christmas be only white. I'm dreaming of a whites-only Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where no one looks different, the browns are restricted, and blacks aren't allowed to go.
With every Christmas card I write, may your days be merry and bright,
and may your Christmas be only whites.
may your days be merry and bright,
And may your Christmas be only whites.
Merry White Christmas, everybody. Welcome back to the EdgeStream. We're back. Another Wednesday night. We're back on the regular time again, I guess. And I'm glad to be back here with all of you. We're live right now on YouTube, Rumble, Entropy, and Twitter. And we got a bunch of people in each of these chats. So shout outs to everyone there. I see Nick Larshay, Jason, Peppermint Patsy, Rick Freedom, Good Times, Chris Freestone, Jimmy Jackson. Hey, good to see you, buddy. Trent. Yeah, White Christmas is a good one. That was the uncensored version. You know, the one that they actually meant back at the time that they sang it, right? On Rumble, we have Caveman Steve, DG383, Koala Mama. Good night, Koala Mama. Have a nice sleep there. I know I'm streaming pretty late. You know, some people in BC and other time zones, it's only 7:30 for them right now. So, you know, they're just finishing supper and getting off work. You know, the EdgeStream is an adult show. We do swear, we do talk about rape. Rape, as is the topic tonight, but it's more rhetorical rape than it is actual rape, because rhetorical rape refers to absolutely decimating our enemies, our opponents with rhetoric, which means that we're just defeating them with facts and logic. And they can't handle that. They can't handle creativity either. When you put a little spice, when you put a little spin on it, they can't handle that either. And we'll see a little bit more about that as we go through this stream. But that's how it's going to be. We're going to be saying the R word. It's good to see you, Shamrock, Celsius, Liquid Zoo, Chad. Kaplank is here, Miss Speaker. Great to see you, Greasy Monkey, Odin. Oh, and of course, the great Dr. Jenstein over on Entropy, saying hi with a nice large heart there. And he put some money behind that, so I don't know if that's like a threat or something, that heart there. If that's a veiled threat, he wants me to do something for him, but he was being very generous there. So thank you very much, Dr. Jenstein. I love you too, for now, as usual, but it's great to see you here. I knew that Dr. Jenstein would appear here if I put rape in the title of my stream, and like clockwork, he showed up, so seems like it's going to be a good one. But anyways, if you guys want to donate at all to the stream, you could do that on Rumble or Entropy. They both have super chat functions, and any donation or any super chat that you want to write in order to steer the conversation in some way, feel free to do that. It's much stuff behind the scenes, so any kind of tip really helps for me to keep doing those kinds of things. I appreciate it. All right, well, let's get right into it. The topic of tonight is, as I've said before, rhetorical rape, but we will be getting into a bunch of things. Just to show you guys what I'm talking about right now, our friends over in Australia, the National Socialist Network, specifically Joel Davis, he got arrested a few weeks ago for literally telling a bunch of guys in one of his Telegram group chats. Now, he is one of the leaders of the NSN, the National Socialist Network in Australia, so he is a high-profile figure. The government does not like this Joel Davis character. In fact, the government of Australia had to get all the guys from the NSN banned off of Twitter because they were repeatedly ratioing every single politician that was talking about immigration or wasn't talking about immigration, and yeah, they were just decimating them. So he made a post to all his boys saying, hey, let's go rhetorically rape this MP or whatever, this politician, this female politician. Let's rhetorically rape her because she doesn't know what she's talking about. And he's banned off Twitter, so he can't go comment himself and let his ratio speak for itself. So he's telling people, if you have Twitter, go and make a comment and let your democracy be known. Let your democratic rights of speaking your own truth in the public space against an elected official, let that be known. But apparently using the term rhetorical rape, or the fact that that word was even said in the first place, was way too much for the government to handle. And, they had to take issue with that. Sorry, I thought I just saw somebody try to come in and join. Okay, hold on. I did see a notification if you're watching, and I almost clicked it, and then it disappeared right before I clicked it. So I'm going to send that invite again and see if you could join. Hold on. I think we have a guest coming on here now. I just want to make sure this works and focus on this. We have Poor Man North of Richmond attempting to join. Let's see if this works. You want to try and say something? See if we could hear you?
Who, me?
Yep.
It's been a while. It's been a while since I've been on a stream with you because I just realized my name for Zoom was Poor Man North of Richmond. That's like 2 years ago.
I was like, what? What does that have to do with anything? But
Like 2 years ago.
You know how it
I've
is.
been selling my soul, working all day, overtime hours for bullshit pay, so I can sit out here.
That is a blast to the past. Yeah. I guess I kind of did like take a hiatus right at the beginning of 2024, which is shortly after that Oliver Anthony phenomenon, because of Bill C-63 got pushed into like full motion, right, by the Liberal government. And then I was like, I need to go back to focusing on, some things beyond streaming and including some movies. So I'm just gonna promote that right now.
Yeah.
Hold on, let's go for that. Sorry, I think I accidentally just deleted that out of my notes. But I'll pop it up on IMDb just to flex right now. I'll just type my name in on IMDb. And that's how I'll start it off. But I'll pop it up on IMDb. Okay, yeah, you got a huge echo. Can you
Is it
get
me?
rid of that? I think so.
Like it sounds like an echo to you or to the audience?
It echoed to me like 10 seconds after I said it.
Okay. Maybe that's because, sorry. Ooh, sorry. This is such a weird setup for me. I'm trying to find where you go to for a good chat. Where do most people chat when they watch your streams so I can follow the chat?
YouTube
Rumble?
or Rumble. Yeah.
Okay.
Probably Rumble is the better one, and it'll get people to go to Rumble.
Okay.
Where they could see cocaine rim jobs, horrible $1 super chats. And they'll get people to go to Rumble.
Maybe that's what the echo was. I opened YouTube for a second. So
okay, yeah, because all it just echoed to me was, and it'll get them to go to Rumble. It was like a perfect.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Okay, hold on. Let me
right.
let me get you popped up on here too. I could get you. You're blocked by the thumbnail right now. There you go. There he is.
Perfect.
Sweet. So yeah, I'm going to plug the Hate Network. That is one of the things that I've done behind the scenes for a while now. You certainly know about this. Yeah. I have been working on writing this thing for years now. We've had help from our good friend Derek, who helped pay for this to get off the ground. But now this has been taken up. It's been bought off by bigger names like Greg Wycliffe, who I've been working with, and then he's put it off to a production company, and now it is the Hate Network. Or I don't even know if that's going to be the final title, but a bunch of us have seen the trailer at this point. Let's see if I could find the trailer quickly just to show people what I'm talking about. And they're doing the first screenings of it, so I believe that these are not final copies of the film, but they're going to show what we have so far, like near the final copy, and maybe get some feedback from people who are literally involved with it, who are going to be promoting it and be at these events doing Q&As as well. So it's like a very comprehensive working with the people who made it kind of premiere, and then eventually it's going to be premiered fully. But I'm just looking if I could find the final trailer for it. I'll just go on Greg's YouTube channel. It's probably the easiest way for it. But yeah, we're trying to tackle the anti-hate industry, and how they are trying to silence people of all walks of life. Like, it could go from people like me and you, who they obviously want to silence because we're talking about stuff like white identity, we're talking about Jewish subversion and all this stuff, but they go after regular people, as they have, who just maybe don't want to get a fucking vaccination, and they get fired from their jobs and their whole family torn apart because of things like that. Censorship and government tyranny for freedom of speech and freedom of association, it knows no bounds when they have an agenda to go forth with these kinds of things.
I think the best example of them going after just, sensible, normal people is the
When I
people
was
who
growing
want
up
to bring.
in Poland,
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say it's the people who are trying to bring the truth aspect to truth and reconciliation. And these are people who are just asking like very obvious questions of like, what evidence is there of what you're claiming? Because what you're claiming is crazy. And then that's, basically
When
you're
I
a
was
Nazi, you want to murder like indigenous people. You are a Holocaust denier basically for, demanding that we see some actual evidence of the claims being made. So like that's the obvious one of like, there's no hate behind it. It's not even like these are very like they're going about it respectfully too, and they're being painted as if they're monsters for doing that. So that's like I think the most obvious recent one of hate.
Yeah, 100%. Like, specifically, I can think of Francis Widdowson, who is in this movie, along with Jim McMurtry, a teacher who was fired. I think a high school teacher who was walked out of his classroom, like the day that he spoke about this in the class. Like, somehow it got to the faculty, and they knew that they needed to remove him immediately, right? And now, just recently, he got fired from his 15-year job as like a top referee, that he was like elected into the position as that referee, like literally elected into his job. And now he's been fired from that because, his behavior is not in accordance to the association or whatever it is, right? And Frances Widdowson, like I stumbled upon her through doing work about this documentary. I didn't even know who she was, and like I saw the thing for this event, and I was like, I don't know what's going on with this. Is anybody even going to attend this? And I felt like, am I going to just go record a lecture and there's going to be nothing and it's going to suck or whatever? Like, does anyone know to come to this event? I was skeptical. But then when she went up and she spoke at Brock University, there was about 20 or so university students that came there, all of them antagonistic towards her, but she gave an hour-long lecture with about 20-30 different slides that had all compacted information about how this Kamloops mass grave hysteria that has been going on in the media since summer of 2021, which caused, by the way, during COVID, when everybody was already disillusioned, it caused them to cancel Canada Day and make it Orange Shirt Day. All the kids died day, all the Indian kids died day instead of Canada Day. It wasn't based on fact whatsoever. People weren't supposed to be getting together for Canada Day or anything, but all of a sudden, Orange Shirt Day, everyone was allowed to get together, right? It all of a sudden became government sanctioned.
Well, you've just touched on why it is they react with so much vitriol to people who are just trying to get to the truth and talk about reality and stuff like that. And it's because it affects their agenda. So like that's why anti-hate is set after these people like attack dogs, because it's not conducive to the agenda that the liberals and the globalists are trying to push in our society. So anybody who challenges these narratives that are being used to bludgeon and humiliate Canadians into accepting their agenda needs to be dealt with. And the easiest way to deal with them is to just paint them as hateful bigots. The thing that I think is so funny about it is like last year, not the previous Truth and Reconciliation Day, but 2024, I was in a space specifically about that topic with Jim McMurtry. And the fun thing that's so funny about it is like I've talked to him. He's like a very nice man. Like he's not I don't even know if he's a conservative, honestly. He seems like he's a proud Canadian, but like your modern boomer kind of typical Canadian that's like just identified something that's not true, and like basically has a lot of knowledge about residential schools and the beneficial aspects of them that you're not allowed to talk about at all, because saying that there was beneficial aspects to the residential school system is akin to genocide, essentially. Like you're a monster who wants to genocide chugs if you talk about any of the nice aspects of residential schools and the good that it did for a lot of the kids that went to them. But the funny thing is, like, I'm like, you want to go after me because at one point he was like, the residential school system was for the most part a good thing. And I was like, yeah, and that's the problem. We were like, I'm like taking the actual like hateful approach and being like, yeah, like come after me if you want to come after someone for being like a bigot towards it. But my approach is like, this is the liberalism that got us to where we are today. This is how we ended up in a situation where they're trying to, justify these land grabs, trying to pass laws that make it illegal for you to say that what they're claiming, trying to pass hate laws so that if you do claim those things, you'll go to like jail, like, trying to make it so that they can bring you before human rights commissions, putting you in a situation where they can get you fired from your job and your pastime. So like, you've now been fired from your high school and, from your refereeing position because you said the truth. And like, that's the problem right there. Like we never should have done this residential school system, not because it was mean, but because it was too fucking nice to somebody that didn't deserve that kindness. That should have been the attitude. The attitude should have been like, why do we care about these fucking people? Why are they our problem? Why should we deal with this like, this is their problem. They have their reserves. They have their treaties. They've got their land. They can fucking deal with it. Deal with your own fucking problems. It's not our problem. And that was me. And like, everybody's reacting like, oh my God, I can't believe he's saying this. Right? But like, my whole view on it is like, this is the reason we're in this mess is because you people are too fucking nice to begin with.
I can't believe he's saying what I'm not allowed to think.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
So
like no, and 100%. It's just like, what thanks do we get for this? It's not just that residential schools were a good thing. It was too good of a thing.
Exactly.
For them, and they didn't appreciate any of it, and now we're accused of mass genocide for it. And if we try to defend ourselves against it, then we're going to be potentially thrown in jail now. That is absolutely insane.
Same argument with like slavery in the United States. Like, so 600,000 Americans died in this war to liberate blacks. What did that get you? How many hundreds of thousands, millions of Europeans died to, save the Jews? What did that get you? Right. Stop with like these wars of morality that you want to fight, these, endeavors of like this white savior complex that you have for, why do you have it? Like,
let's talk about some race realism for a second too, with these residential schools and how these kids were forced to attend school. Imagine being forced to attend school. Everyone is forced to attend school. It's called truancy. It's illegal, and you can't not attend school apparently. So, what would have happened to these kids if they didn't go to a residential school? What would happen under the hands of their own parents on these reses, where alcohol and violence and familial violence, spousal violence, alcoholism, murder. In fact, there's supposedly a genocide of female indigenous women, right? But who is actually doing it? We know it's the male indigenous men who are drunk and violent and criminal.
Okay.
And, it's not like the women are that much better, but, they are victims of that as well. But, like, these children were being shown a better way, if anything. And lives were saved incalculably by this residential school system.
Well, and that's why it was a mistake.
Yeah.
Why, like, it's funny. Mark Emery posted that like on Truth and Reconciliation Day or around that time when or maybe it was in the follow-up, because there's been quite a few things, honestly, that have come up recently with the Chugs. Like there was, what was it? There's obviously Truth and Reconciliation. There was the land grabs that they're doing in BC and in Quebec. There was the, change that jackass made to the national anthem during the World Series. And there was, the new Holocaust. Well, I call it Holocaust denial because that's what it's virtually the same law that
they copied and pasted it.
Yes,
yeah.
it's the
but
same
the funny
law.
thing is, not a peep what happened in 2022 when that passed through secretly through the budget bill. The budget, so it went into the budget. How is this part of the budget to censor literal history? How is that part of the budget? And it somehow usurped, it somehow circumvented all kind of parliamentary proceedings and debates that they would normally yell at each other like a bunch of fucking retards in parliament and hoot and holler about it, conservative versus liberal. But no, that didn't.
So, anyways, there was all these things that have gone on throughout the fall that have kind of made tensions between Canadians and the normally are. And Mark Emery dropped that line like, our ancestors should have fucking wiped them out. I forget exactly how he worded it, but it was something like that. And like that logic is not like, I've heard that before, obviously, but more and more people are coming to that conclusion. It's like, what did kindness get you? Like, what was the point of this? And this is like the irony is that the thing that undid the British Empire more than anything was their own, respect and tolerance towards conquered peoples. If they were more aggressive, more hostile, more ruthless, like empires usually were, it probably would still exist today. So it was like their own acceptance of so-called indigenous rights and tolerance of, indigenous cultures that led to this problem to begin with. But the reason I we've gone down this rabbit hole is because, you have this is what I'm talking about. It's like they go after like even the sensible, like you want to go after someone and portray that as hateful. Well, there you go. I just gave you your sound bites. I'm the one saying like, yeah, we should have been much more intolerant, aggressive, and frankly, we should be today. We should be much more aggressive. It's funny you mentioned too the crime stats. I think I posted that on the Truth and Reconciliation Day because or maybe it was after, because like I said, so much of this has been going on.
I didn't see that. Yeah.
But almost 1/3 of homicide suspects, people who are charged with homicide in Canada, I don't know about the conviction rate, but 1/3 of people charged with homicide in Canada are Indigenous, are the Redskins, right? The Abos, whatever word you prefer to use for them. That's crazy because they are like, I think they're 5% of the population. So we have a 533 rule in Canada when it comes to murder. And the other aspect of it is 25% of homicide victims in Canada or around that are Abos. So it's Abos doing the murdering and it's Abos that they're killing. And the crazy thing is they can break those stats down again by, relationship, between murderer and victim. And the overwhelming majority of the victims in these situations are, people that are known to them. The most common, the craziest stat, I think this actually applies across race as well. Like, when a murder happens, a spouse is a likely suspect, a boyfriend or like ex-lover is a, likely suspect, right? Like that's just typical. But like, I think 72%, I think that was the number, 72% of murdered in like Abo females were murdered by their spouse or a significant other or an ex-lover. So like 3/4 of the indigenous, women being murdered are being murdered by their spouses. And then they're out there, demanding resources, demanding attention, demanding police investigations, demanding anti-racist initiative, all of this bullshit because they're being killed by their own men.
Yep. Yep.
The missing and murdered, the red dress movement, the missing and murdered indigenous women. Yeah, they're being murdered by their own husbands. That's who's fucking killing them. And if I talk about that, I'm a bigot, right? So if you bring any of this up, then they try to shut you down by calling.
Well, all this indigenous identity grievance bullshit is actually helping murder these women like more consistently, because these men, they use this kind of thing in order to make sure that they get away with the crimes that they're doing. And I know from good authority, specifically, these men get away with threatening the women in their community, and they cannot seek justice through that. And then, what are you going to have a sweat lodge about it? Or are you going to crack down on this criminal extorter, coercer, brutal, drug-addicted abuser? That's what you got to do. You got to crack down on them. You got to send the SWAT team in. You got to do whatever you can to stop this person. But they'll use all these grievance politics in order, especially in the courts, to be like, I remember a guy that bullied every kid in my school. Apparently, I didn't even know he was like half or a quarter indigenous. So then I typed in his name because I was interested. What are all the craziest people that I knew growing up that terrorized my town? What are they doing now? He had a whole joint letter between the Crown prosecutor and his defense lawyer to say that he went to a sweat lodge, so now he's a good boy. His mom had a rough time because she was a chug. And then you just go look for the next 10 years after that. There was received, and he got a reduced sentence for selling heroin to an undercover cop, by the way. And then, it's just arrest after arrest for guns, drugs, assault,
Yeah. So this is, I think the average, boots on the ground idiot liberal probably believes that this approach is helpful, and that they are they are the way they are because of historic racism or some shit. I think they genuinely believe that. But if you believe that the people at the top believe that, you're an idiot. They don't actually believe in any of this stuff. They know, like, that's the element of, like, the politicians. If they're just as racist as you are, just so you know that. But that's not conducive to what they're trying to achieve. Like, they know what's going on with the indigenous. How could they not? Right?
I'll give you an example of something. This is slightly unrelated, but Richard Nixon back in the 60s, after the civil rights movement, where they forced integration into schools with black kids and white kids, and it was highly contested, highly fought against, especially in the southern states, there was all these scientific studies that had been done in the late 60s and 70s that said that blacks have a lower IQ, and it's because of genetics, and that means that they have they're more prone to violence because they're in a specific range where that's what they can do. That's how they're going to get ahead. And Richard Nixon saw this in the Journal of Intelligence in the early 70s, and behind the scenes, specific recordings showed him specifically saying, we cannot let the American public know about this information. We cannot let them know about this information because it would cause complete upheaval and riots.
Yeah.
And that's race realism for you. Like, we're supposed to believe that we're all the same, but no, it's obvious that we're not, and people need to be treated accordingly to what their capabilities are. And Furthermore, Europeans and Canadians need to be able to have their own homelands.
See, like it comes down to this. I was talking about this recently with in the context of transgenderism, but this is the same thing. Um, a lot these people, the people who often fight for these things, like let me give you an example. Do you think that Evan Balgord of the Canadian Anti-Hate Network actually gives a fucking shit about Indians?
No.
Like about Aboriginals? Do you think he gives one, like the tiniest shred of shit about Aboriginals?
No, I also firmly believe that they don't think that this Kamloops 215 children thing, they know it's not real. That's why they don't push it, but they have their Antifa goons like Tony like slightly making swipes and attacking the characters of people who do talk about these kinds of things as if they're like some sort of evil ghoul type people. How can you talk about something like that? But they know, and that's why they don't push it, because they know it's true, but they don't care. They don't care that that is specifically a blood libel against our people. That's a blood libel saying that European Christians were just murdering children and raping them because they felt like power over them. It makes no fucking sense. And yeah,
not even just Christians, too. Nuns for the most. Most of these schools are run by nuns.
When I heard that, I'm like, what are these nuns throwing on strap-ons and just like getting high on like fucking like Nazi meth and just fucking all these little... No, they're not. Like, that's the most insane thing I've ever heard. You guys are out of your mind. Like, just, it should be, from the moment that it's said, it should be obvious that that's not what happened. But
the point that I'm getting
there's so
at
much propaganda.
One of the ways that you can tell, like I know that Evan Balgord doesn't give a shit about Indians. He doesn't give a shit about Aboriginals. He doesn't give a shit about blacks. He doesn't give a shit about any of these people. And the way that you know that's true is because if they actually did care about these people, and this goes for most of the people fighting for, Aboriginal, respect or reconciliation or social job, whatever it is. If they did, they would be honest. Like that's the real thing that's key towards respect is honesty. And so the honest truth is the problems that you guys face are internal. Like there is no missing and murdered Indigenous women conspiracy among, white people. It's not us doing it. It's you guys doing it. So like this is a problem that you guys need to sort out. This isn't a problem that, okay, we'll throw some money at it and fix it. That's not going to fix it. It's so much deeper than that. It has to do with the culture that you have created in your own, closed off societies. Like that's the problem. So if you're not going to be honest with these people, then you don't actually care about them. Right. And the same thing, I use that example with transgenderism. Like these people who validate them, it's hilarious to me. I've seen this multiple times now. People who validate, transgender people, and then they'll turn around to you and they're like, oh man, they're so gross. They're disgusted. But like the people that are, if you're a tranny, the people who are validating you are disgusted by you, just so you know. Even if they don't say it, I'm telling you, that's the truth. They may not say it to your face. They may not even say it to anyone else. But the truth is, they're disgusted by you. And
the normal ones who aren't degenerates themselves, but they'll do it as a sort of penance. Like, this is what I'm supposed to believe, so I will be performative about it. Yes.
And of course, so, that's not kindness.
Do you think that Rachel Gilmore likes being compared to Faye Johnstone?
Exactly.
No, of course not.
Exactly. Do you think that's what I mean? Is like, do you think that Rachel Gilmore doesn't find these people? I guarantee you, she finds them disgusting. I guarantee you, because that's just reality. And if she doesn't, it's because she's mind fucked herself so much at this point that, she's basically brainwashed herself into thinking that it's normal. But most people that are interacting with you and they're validating you and they're being nice to you and they're saying, "Oh yeah, you're so beautiful." No, they think you're disgusting. And the same, I just bring this example up again because it's the same thing that's true with these people. Oh, it's not your fault. It's racial trauma. Blah blah. They don't actually believe any of that shit. They're not doing it. They're not doing it because they believe it. They're doing it because they think that that's what's going to get them social credit. So that's not kindness. That's not respect. That's lies. Lies is not respectful.
Okay, well that's an interesting take because Black Pill did a stream on Saturday, and uh it was very relevant to Canadian history, especially with free speech, specifically James Keegstra. James Keegstra has been like the first guy, the first very prominent guy to get charged with hate speech charges in Canada. Back in the 80s, he was a mayor of a town, I think it was like Ekmanville or something like that in Edmonton. Uh in Alberta, Ekmanville or something, a very small town, but he was also the principal of his high school and a teacher. He was a history teacher. So he ended up getting charged with Holocaust denial because he just continually insisted on teaching his children what he thought was the truth. And by his own logic, from his own Christian ethics, he thought that he would be doing disservice. He would be committing a sin by not telling his students the truth, by not telling people the truth. And Black Pill did a great stream about him, and he even used clips from a movie made by Jews from the States. I think one of the Jews that owns the production company actually owns like a sports team, like a whole ass like NBA or MLB sports team. I think it's a baseball team. But let's see if I could find the clip right here, right now. Yeah. But anyways, Black Pilled has some of the best streams. And he uses AI now. He inserts AI into old movies in order to say what he thinks they would really be saying. So check this out. And this is an 80s movie, so of course, bass Darth Vader makes an appearance.
No wonder they call us Goyim.
That's it, you little shit. You can go to your room. No Nintendoing for you tonight.
Why are you like this?
Heil Hitler.
You're always trying to tell me what to do. I don't know why you're trying to do this to Mr. Subak, but you better quit. I mean it.
Okay, you can play Mario.
No wonder they...
So, yeah, that's probably very confusing for everyone who just watched that. But anyways, this is a movie from the 1980s and late 1980s. So in the early 1980s, this teacher, James Keegstra, he got charged with Holocaust denial. He was one of the first to be charged.
Well, how did he get charged with Holocaust denial in Canada in the 1980s?
So he was teaching his class, his history class. I think it was, I don't know how old they were exactly, but he was teaching them. I would assume they're like anywhere from like 12 to 16 from what I saw in this movie. But he would teach them what he felt was the truth, so Holocaust revisionism about it, and he did it from a Christian perspective too as well. And then after many years of him doing that, he was also the mayor of the town and the principal of the school.
That didn't answer the question. I'm saying, by what legal means did they charge him with
sorry.
Like, was it illegal?
Yeah, so the law is, there's two laws against hate speech in Canada. There's public incitement to hatred, and there's promotion of hate propaganda. And I think it was promotion of hate propaganda that he got charged for. So he specifically got charged with promotion of hate propaganda for that. And that is something that still people are getting charged to this day. And this R versus Keegstra case has been one that has been upheld because he actually ended up getting charged with it in the end. And I think, from my point of view...
Charged or convicted? He
got convicted, yeah. It is because he was doing it to school students. So it made it easier to convict him. So then the case precedent for the conviction is that, yes, he was spreading hate, but, you know, it was in a way that it was easier to get him convicted because it was in a classroom setting. That's what I think. But anyways, that was a huge case, and I definitely support him and his right to say what he believes is true. And let's be honest, yeah, like, I think he was doing the right thing. But going forward into the future, they use that as a precedent, right? And then that goes into the Ernst Zundel trials of the 80s and the 90s in Canada, and how there was like a huge fight for free speech in that. And specifically Ernst Zundel, he was charged with a false news act that was around at that time. It was like an archaic law that ended up getting repealed because they took it all the way to the Supreme Court. And once they got into the Supreme Court after many years of like a huge fight over it in courts, which caused a lot of controversy and a lot of people to start coming in and talking about it, and it created new celebrities out of that. So I don't think that's a thing that they want to happen again, right? But at the end of the day, this False News Act, that was an archaic Canadian law, it got repealed because it violated the Charter of Canadian Rights or whatever on free speech, because it wasn't a reasonable limitation. But, however, they did find that James Keegstra, his teaching kids about Holocaust denial and that Jews are, the synagogue of Satan, that was a reasonable limit on free speech. But Ernst Zundel, getting charged under this False News Act, that was an unreasonable limitation, and then the law got repealed. So that's why Ernst Zundel was able to operate, and that's why decades later until now, did they only sneak through actual Holocaust denial laws that are under that same hate propaganda offense. Literally, it's under the hate propaganda offense that Keegstra guy got charged under, but now they've increased the wording to say it's like hate via anti-Semitism, via the downplaying, denying, or condoning of the Holocaust. And then now that that's in law, the Gazans of the world, Leah Gazan being the NDP MP who put forth this residential school denialism bill, she is now building upon that. Yeah, and she's also Jewish. She's more Jewish than she is actually native, which is hilarious. And she's more Chinese than she is native. I think she's like a quarter or eighth native. So she's totally stolen valor. She's totally fucking Buffy Saint Maria. She's totally Elizabeth Warren did it. Like, yeah, it's pretty pathetic.
Yeah. No, it's okay. I should go watch that Black Pilled episode for sure. I don't know. I haven't been watching as much stuff like that recently.
Okay. Oh, shit. So Ferry just got yeeted from the stream. I have to invite him back in. I'm going to tell him, you got yeeted from the Zoom stream. I can invite you back in a few minutes. It's going to make me upgrade, but I could start a new meeting. Okay, yeah, it says I could start a new meeting in 10 minutes. So, I'm going to play a song, and then I'm going to play the Hate Network trailer, and then we're going to get Ferry back on, and we're going to start a new topic. So, that sounds good to me. Check out the new Deftones song. It's off their new CD. It's really good. Their new album. And we'll be back with you guys in a second. I'll read these obnoxious super chats that I've received from a good friend of mine. But we'll be right back. All right. We're going to play the trailer for the upcoming movie, The Hate Network. This is a teaser trailer from 2 months ago. So this movie is being it's being premiered in its earliest stages in Calgary and Ottawa, and I believe probably Toronto sometime soon. So that's going to be awesome. And I can't wait till the full release of this film. But yeah, it's going to be awesome. And yeah, as I've said before, I have the writer credit for this movie. And I've worked hard on it. I've filmed so much for this. And, I've written over and over again, about the so-called anti-hate industry. Because they call everything that we do so-called. The so-called freedom movement, the so-called free speech movement, so-called pro-white movement. Everything is so-called. But, well, this is actually so-called anti-hate because these people really do hate a lot. And they hate Canadians, and they hate our way of life, and they will do anything that they can do in order to make sure that we can't live as we have before, and we can't fight for our own rights here. Anyways, here's the trailer.
Growing up in Poland, the language the government were using was anyone that was patriotic was a troublemaker.
Online platforms have become seas of racism, misogyny, and hate.
Do you think we live in a free country?
No.
Who the fuck cares about that paper anymore?
You caught the RCMP in lies.
Mm-hmm.
We caught them in lies ourselves during the convoy.
Why was they even arrested? Start there.
Far too many Canadians face hatred and discrimination.
I was basically accused of teaching my children hate.
I've got death threats many times.
I had death threats.
The guards were giving them incentives to murder me in prison.
If you challenge any of the current government and media narratives of the day, they're going to come after you.
Including adding a definition of hatred to the criminal code.
Hate speech, which, what does that even mean?
Because now you have the most sensitive people in the room deciding what everyone else can say.
This is also a country where unserious people start unserious organizations like the Canadian Anti-Hate Network.
It's almost the attack dog for the Liberal Party.
These are Antifa journalists being funded by our federal government.
We are very proudly anti-fascist and we focus on the far right.
They are consistently found to be fraudulent.
Setting the agenda on what constitutes hate and how that hate should be addressed.
They're not shooting us dead on the streets yet.
If it doesn't work, now what? You going to assassinate me?
Charlie Kirk has been shot.
Like, it's okay if we died.
They're not concerned about the safety of everyone.
Fuck you! Fuck you!
Canadian kindness is an illusion.
Bullies, racists, bigots, and Nazis.
Being defamed is experience.
Because of a joke? They needed a boogeyman for their Emergencies Act, right?
You cannot live in a country where you actually believe something and you're not allowed to say it.
What's hanging over my head was 50 million and 15 years prison.
The process becomes the punishment.
When is this tyranny going to end?
Is Canada free? Not for some.
First they came for, and then they came for, and then they came for you. There's nobody to defend you because everybody else is in jail.
This documentary reach as many people as possible. Go to givesendgo.com/savefreespeech. Go to givesendgo.com/savefreespeech.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was so-called muted. I was muted this whole time, and I was saying good things about the movie, but now Ferryman is back on. Thank you for coming back on in my muted disgrace here.
It's all good.
I don't even remember what I just said. It was all off the heart, so I can't repeat it. I guess you guys you'll never fucking know. It was probably really fucking good though, so.
Oh, were you mute? Did you mute yourself?
yeah, I muted myself, and they're like, "Is anyone here a lip reader?" And I just said something. It was only about a minute or two of me pouring my heart out, but okay, whatever. Well, let's get on to some new topics. We are talking about rhetorical rape, first of all.
Yeah.
I don't know. I do. Before we get into that, I do want to look at Canada's new terrorist entities, because that is brand new. It's relevant to Canada. Let's check it out. Yeah. I definitely have some commentary on it.
The government of Canada has added 4 new groups to its list of terrorist entities. They are Online Sextortion Network 764, White supremacist organizations, Maniac Murder Cult and Terrorgram Collective, and the ISIS affiliate Islam.
You mean the Maniac Murder Cult is a terrorist organization?
Seems a little bit harsh.
Yeah.
Maniac Murder Cult.
Bit misunderstood or something.
Terrorgram Collective and the ISIS affiliate Islamic State.
This whole time, and I was saying good things about the movie, but now Ferryman is back on.
Sorry, I don't know. My YouTube.
That's your YouTube.
I know.
And your YouTube is only taking out like good quotes of mine from like me saying cool things and like cutting it off at the exact.
I don't know why it started playing again. I had it paused, and all of a sudden it started playing again. I got ghosts in my computer.
Yeah, we're all getting hacked, Pegasus style. But anyways, let's start this again. It's only 36 seconds. 4 new groups added to Canada's terrorist organization list. When do you think Second Sons is going to be added? Or do you have any opinion on why or when or if they would add something like Second Sons? Because I have some opinions. I'd like to hear yours.
I think that it's definitely possible that they could try to make that at some point. They would need some kind of connection to actual incidents of violence or alleged threats of violence to probably justify it. I think they'll have some hard time with us because of the way it's framed, and also like even in the case of the Proud Boys, Jeremy talked a little about this in the Second Sons Q&A, but like even in that case, like in Canada, the Proud Boys did virtually nothing. The only incident of violence that I recall the Proud Boys being involved in Canada was actually one of their members being brutally assaulted in a bar in Vancouver.
Right. Yeah.
Like that's the only incident that I can think of. Maybe there's some other minor ones, but if there was, it would have been very minor. However, there was all of the connections between them and the January 1st stuff, and there was some shady shit going on within that organization. That was
the January 6th, in the States, though. That was the States, yeah.
I'm not saying that should have been used to justify them being a terrorist organization, but it gave them enough that they could justify it, so there's that.
It's the international connection. Even if international just means the States, like 20 hours down south or something. But I do think also that they did that because they knew there wasn't enough of a presence here in Canada for them to say, hey, look, we are upstanding citizens and we are Proud Boys. Do not, how can you legitimately call us terrorists? Just like with the Diagolon, when they tried to say the Coots 4 was involved with Diagolon or whatnot, Like,
So-
what would have looked like if they said that Diagolon was a terrorist entity, which even some MPs were falsely accusing us of being a terrorist entity, even though we very specifically aren't. It's just that, like, once you have enough people there, like, are they really going to take the backlash to say that this is a terrorist entity when it really hasn't met that threshold? So they'll do it when they can get away with it, like in the States. With the Nordic resistance movement. What has the Nordic resistance movement ever done in the USA in order to be declared a terrorist organization in the USA? And you know who gets fucked over of that? Like, literally one guy.
Well,
literally a fucking Johansson or whatever his name is of the Nordic Resistance podcast, who actually was making the outreach towards an international community.
Yeah.
Even though in Sweden it's not a fucking terrorist organization, because if they made it a terrorist organization in Sweden, it wouldn't make any sense and they would all be able to fight back. I hear that it was made a terrorist organization in Finland because they did have, like you said, they had enough of these incidents with like former members or people who weren't exactly associated with it, but they made enough connections.
Yeah.
So it's like something with, you don't want to associate with too many people or else you might have a crazy off to the side that's going to do something like that. But and then bring that heat to it. But those are just some situations that add to the greater context.
I can tell you the real reason that Nordic resistance movement was added to the U.S. Terrorist list by the State Department was not because of anything going on in Sweden. It was because of many of their prominent members being openly supportive of Palestine and Hamas. That's the real reason that they were made to be a terrorist organization. So there's
really
that.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's why. Regarding us, it's funny you bring up Nordic resistance movement. So this is how they try to lay the terrorist organization, by associating us with other organizations that have some kind of terrorist designation or something by whatever government.
Well, that's the biggest thing that they use against us.
Yes.
Or like Second Sons in general, is that terrorist designation of poor Hey Buddy. It's fucking Hey Buddy.
It's not just him though. They
Andreas Johansson.
They love to bring that one up, obviously, because it does have that designation in the United States. But the one that they really like to use is Atomwaffen. For obvious reasons, but that's like they do that in almost every article that talks about active clubs in Canada will bring up Atomwaffen, and the reason why is because they're trying to get active clubs designated as a terrorist organization by saying that their motives and tactics are the same as Atomwaffen's, which is nonsense. It's fundamentally the opposite of Atomwaffen.
Yeah.
For example, I'll give you an example. Not that I'm saying this guy would have been able to get into, I don't know anything about this guy, but recently in Lloydminster, there was a 38-year-old man was charged with uttering threats, possession of unauthorized or illegal firearms, improper storage, and a whole slew of other charges. Now, this guy, clearly not very bright, clearly acting, completely erratically and not thinking very intelligently, was making alleged threats towards minority groups while having illegal firearms. So he was raided. They found a Nazi flag. They found blah, 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 right? A whole bunch of crap. Our approach is the exact opposite. Like, we do not want our members doing shit like that. We specifically tell them not to do things like that because, one, it's not actually going to get them what they want. So if you go around and you threaten to shoot a minority or something, that's not going to get you what you want. And in fact, it's going to get you the opposite of what you ultimately want, because nobody is going to agree with you on that. And they're going to treat you and everybody who agrees, maybe agrees with you, like in terms of politics, they're going to lump you in and try to make them out to be violent. So we preach the exact opposite, which is constructive organizational building that's focused on peaceful means of exerting political change, not on, random acts of violence. And so our whole, motivation is to bring guys out of this destructive element and put them towards something more positive. And the funny thing is they do the same thing to the NSN, specifically Tom Sewell, because I forget the name of the Christchurch shooter.
Yeah, so Harry Barry Terry. I did listen to that 4-part podcast with Awfully Offensive, where basically this guy gave about $1,500 to Thomas Sewell at some point. Thomas Sewell didn't even know who he was, and he was also in one of the Facebook groups but he didn't know, wasn't involved with anything this guy did. But yeah, it definitely reflected poorly when the whole power of the state came down upon people like Thomas for that guy going out and doing his own thing. But it's just like the way that those guys were persecuted time and time again when they were just trying to get people together. Like they were not doing anything violent. They were just trying to get groups of people together. And then this Harry Barry Terry guy was lurking the whole time, seeing just the way the state was repressing everybody, and then realized there's no point in doing this in the fair way. So I'm going to go off on my own tangent, and I'm going to go and kill people. And
so the important thing to note here with this is that this is before the NSN. So this is whenever Tom was running something called the Lad Society with Blair and some other guys. And the point that needs to be emphasized here is that they try to make it out like these kinds of people are attracted to what, Tom or other active club models are trying to build, but that's not the case. So this guy was somewhat supportive, obviously, in terms of like finances or whatever. But whenever Tom asked him, like, hey, do you want to like come train with the guys? Do you want to come to the meetings? Do you want to come over? The answer was no, I don't.
Okay, yeah, just so people can understand, this is the Christchurch shooter who killed 50 people at a mosque in New Zealand.
Yeah.
And so this is stemming off of that, and there was a lot of controversy. So, yeah, it's referring to.
They make it out like these kinds of types are attracted to what, people like us are building, but that's actually not true. It's the opposite. The reason these people aren't attracted to what we're doing is, or if they were, we would probably prevent them from doing these kinds of things, is because you're providing them with a constructive outlet for the very real, like this is where people have a hard time distinguishing. These shooters oftentimes are observing legitimate problems in their society, and their prescription to that problem is completely incorrect. And so the whole point of stuff like this is to take guys out of isolation, to prevent them from doing something unsensible and stupid, and put them towards some kind of constructive cause that doesn't end in violence and doesn't end in something disastrous. So they bring this up with Tom because they're trying to paint it out like that, but his whole thing is like, if this guy had joined us, like maybe he wouldn't have done that. Maybe if this guy had a better support network of people around him and had more positivity in his life and something that he felt, was worth working towards, he wouldn't have gone on that ridge. And so that's why they hate us. It's not because we're going to lead to the shootings. It's because we're going to prevent them.
Yep. And they'll use that. They
want them. That's the point. The anti-hates of the world, the ADLs, the intelligence agencies, the government, they want these racially motivated incidents of mass violence. They want that. We don't. We want our guys to be safe, and we want them, not in prison, not, killing themselves, not doing moronic things that, are of no use to anyone. We want them doing something productive. And so that's why they hate us, because we're offering a real alternative to, just spurging out and random violence. And that's unacceptable to them, which is why the real terror that we're engaged in is that we're actually a threat to the system, because we're organizing in a way that could actually be successful. Whereas this kind of like these random acts of violence, they're never going to have any effect, and they have an inverse effect. So yeah, that's the point that needs to be emphasized. And that's why they try to associate us with Adamov, and despite the fact that we say over and over, like, no, like we do not agree. Like, no, I do not. I've never read Siege. No, I don't agree with James. No, I don't believe that, random acts of violence and terrorism are going to achieve the political change that we want in this world. So, we're just about organizing and defending ourselves, which again is why they have to make out like combat sports training, or even like in that last video that we put out, the Remigration Now banner drop, they compared us in the park doing what is essentially circuit training or basically CrossFit, to be honest, with combat training.
Yeah.
They were engaging in combat training at the local park. What combat? We didn't even have boxing on.
Okay, so let's look at that right now, just so people know. Yeah, well, they always just launder the smears. Once somebody says something, then they just repeat it, and they don't even care whether it's true or not, right?
Yeah.
You could even see that by the CTV news report that said that Second Sons was actually a group called Stormtroopers, without any credibility, just because some guy named Dave said that they looked like stormtroopers. They looked like stormtroopers. So then they said they're allegedly a group named Stormtroopers. Well, how could you even possibly think that the group is named Stormtroopers? Like, that is one of the most insane gaps of logic I've ever seen in my life, from what is supposed to be like a funded by millions, possibly billions throughout their careers, CTV saying Stormtroopers is the group, like, just with no proof, no oversight.
Yeah.
Anyways, just to finish this off, though,
new groups to its list of terrorist entities. They are Online Sextortion Network 764, white supremacist organizations, Maniac Murder Cult, and Terrorgram Collective, and the
So Terrorgram Collective is part of that whole network that you were talking about before, that we are trying to prevent from. The other ones, 764, that is like weird satanic, like pedophile shit. Like, this is weird stuff that has nothing to do with it. But they try to connect it to people like us because, mass shooters, and there have been white supremacist mass shooters in the past. So then they'll easily just connect it to the one thing that they can do to use against us.
Terrorism and violent extremism, in particular the radicalization of young people online, adding these measures help protect Canadians.
Well, anyways, here's the London Bridge rally for Second Sons that looked fucking awesome. I don't know who this video editor is, but they do a fucking fan-fucking-tastic job. So let's just check it out here in full screen. Full screen as it should be. Sorry, let's get it in 1080. It deserves the 1080 treatment.
London police say no charges were laid after a group of protesters demonstrated in Old South this weekend.
This is dashcam footage from viewer Dave.
It reportedly happened on Sunday in London, Ontario.
It appears to show a group of about 30 people
presenting themselves in uniforms with masks, in black attire,
in formation on the Wortley Road overpass,
seemingly promoting extreme right-wing Nazi ideology.
The group is allegedly Stormtroopers, named after the paramilitary wing of the historical Nazi Party in Germany. They're holding a banner up that reads "Remigration Now."
Remigration is stop the flow, setting up ones that don't to self-deport, to create policies that prevent people from abusing the system to begin with.
Specifically, they were carrying the red ensign,
a symbol of Canada before the Maple Leaf flag was adopted in 1965.
So there you go, folks. Now you know this happened. What do you think of all this?
I think you're a dumb fucking bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that happened in London. There was the stormtrooper. You know, somebody took it upon themselves to dress up in a stormtrooper costume. We're just gonna go through this quickly. And then another guy was there. And he yelled at the cops.
Deportation now! Look it. You doing you? What's up? What's your issue? No, I'm protesting. No!
So the cops are rolling up upon him like you are a problem, trying to fuck with him. Then we have him calling them faggots here.
Fuck you! We have a healthcare crisis. We have a privatizing it.
So by the way, this was a week after that rally. The leftists in London, Ontario decided to have a counter rally, a counter protest to the remigration rally that happened there. So, on the same bridge. And then this Chad here just showed up by himself. None of us know him. He's just some guy that showed up. Now, what's really funny here is what I wanted to bring attention to is this retarded boomer is holding a fucking cone. Look at this.
Yeah.
He's holding a cone with the heavy side over the bridge with his tiny, weak little hands. And with the other hand, he's not even holding the cone. He's holding a tiny Canadian flag. What if he dropped that cone onto the cars underneath the overpass? Like, these guys don't even think about what they're doing when they protest. Imagine this boomer, this libtard boomer, just dropped the cone on a car, and then it smashed their windshield, and it was Final Destination. He was just like... And then the car just starts driving into a bunch of minorities that are walking on the side of the street. Did they even think of something like that? Because we have to think about things like that when we prepare for our protests. But this guy is just holding... He's like sucking the small end of a fucking pylon. Deep-throating the small end of a pylon over an overpass.
I just think it's hilarious because that wouldn't be effective at all.
Yeah.
Use your voice, man.
He's just sucking on the end of a pylon. Like, what the fuck is this? This is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen.
This is what, like, 6-year-olds do. You give them, like, a cone or something, and they think, like, it sounds like their voice is big, but it's just, you know, like a party hat or something, and they're, like, yelling in the party hats. Like, that doesn't actually make you sound louder.
Yeah. What the fuck? I don't know. I just thought that the only reason I was bringing up all these videos is just so I could show this, because I thought... But also, I do have some unearthed footage of the guy. So you saw how the guy actually has some footage of himself, right?
Yeah.
So He's actually a Facebook friend of mine. I don't know him at all, but I was looking at my Facebook stories while I was on the shitter, and I'm like, dude, that's the guy. And then I made sure that I started following his shit. So yeah, he just released his shit like yesterday on what his perspective was.
What's up? What's your issue?
My issue is you are now trying to cause problems.
No, I'm protesting.
Are you leaving?
No.
Don't cause problems if you're coming with me, Adrian. You understand?
I'm on the sidewalk.
You're shouting. You're making a
Oh, are you going to shed a tear? Get your emotions to that.
So they know who he is. They're like, Adrian, what the fuck are you doing, Adrian? Adrian, you're a problem. And he's like, fuck off! Fuck off, you stupid cops! Fuck off. So this guy knows what he's doing. He knows how to handle police. This is the kind of guy that maybe you want to have fucking with cops. What are you doing? Are you painting?
Yeah.
No, you're painting some figurines. Okay. Let's prop that up. What is that?
It's a plasma gun for my tank.
Oh, is this Warhammer 4K, 40K or something?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What is that?
What do you mean, what is that?
What is Warhammer 40? I know that there's a bunch of nerds that paint shit for Warhammer 40K.
Yeah, first of all, it's the most fascist-coded fictional, franchise in the planet. So check yourself.
Okay.
Let me show you. I don't know if you can really see. The light is probably too bright.
It's pretty good. Yeah, I can see him. He has a gun and a mace or or an axe or something.
Okay. That faction's called Death Corps of Krieg. It's literally modeled off of like World War I German soldiers. So it's fucking cool. Yeah, the whole thing is like the fascist imperium just like purging and wiping out all the alien races.
Okay. And that's like, Warhammer 4K lore?
Yeah. Like the whole point of humanity is to just like wipe out every non-human thing.
That's pretty base.
Yeah. Anyways, I started painting because there's no other entertainment that's not fucking gay anymore. Like, what am I gonna do? Am I supposed to watch a movie or a TV show and get bombarded with fucking homosexuality and race mixing propaganda? Like, no. And so I jumped on here, but you're cutting into my painting time. So,
okay. Why if you want to really join a club, why don't you join the Pink Pony Club?
That song does kind of slap.
It does. Okay, so I heard that song from that specific video, and I was like, I've definitely before. What is it? I typed it in, and now I'm addicted to it. And now everybody makes fun of me because I like the song. It's a good fucking song. The video sucks because it has a bunch of troons in it, and the chick's a lesbian. But it is a good song. Ferryman backs me up. Okay, everybody, you heard that. Yeah. It's an excellent power pop song. You know what? I'm gonna play it quickly while Ferry does some painting, and then we're gonna get back. What should we cover? What do you want to cover?
It's gonna cut me out again, isn't it?
In a bit. Okay, let's cover something.
Let's talk about Joel, because next time it cuts me out, I'm not gonna come. It's already midnight. I'm not gonna come back again. So.
Okay, yeah. Let's talk about Joel then.
So whenever I get cut from the stream again, goodbye, everybody. But what did you have for like? I mean, it's one of the most. What's being done to Joel is one of the most insane fucking things that I've seen. Like every week in Australia, it's a new. Like they somehow manage to top themselves. They outdo themselves for just absurd abuse of power. So, a couple weeks ago, it's Matthew Gruder being deported because, he's an immigrant that took part in a, protest against Jews. And, the next week, it's Joel Davis being arrested for basically, here's what he did. Ultimately, here's what he did. He told people to go comment on a politician's public post directly pertaining to him and the organization that he's a part of, which is an explicitly political organization. So if you tell people to go comment on a politician's post about you, to tell them what you think about that post, regarding politics, you will be arrested. That's fucking crazy. And the fact that more people aren't talking about it in like mainstream media, sorry, not even mainstream media, alternative media. The fact that this isn't being brought up by a host of people is nuts. It shows, that they don't actually believe in what they talk about. All the people who talk about free speech in the political right in North America, in Europe, etc., if they aren't addressing what happened to Joel, they don't actually believe in what they're talking about or they're not paying attention because it's a crazy story that nobody's talking about.
Well, like literally rhetorical rape. Like he made it's like kind of an offhanded comment about a context of going in and commenting on somebody's profile on Twitter, right?
Yeah.
There's no context in which he's trying to incite anybody to actually rape anybody. It's literally just the fact that he used the word rape that they were able to capitalize on and use in order to create it into a context that has nothing to do with like any actual criminal charge of rape or of a threat even. But that's what they do. And I know you specifically, I'm going to put you on full display again because when this happened to you 3 years ago, except for Jeremy didn't actually get charged with it. But basically, Jeremy on a late night Telegram stream, Jeremy McKenzie, our good friend, the president of Second Sons, he made a joke saying that him and his girlfriend, when they are joking around, whatever, in their own private time, that they talk about, like, if we were to do, like, a power couple situation, like we're in Game of Thrones or something like that, like, who would we power rape as a couple? And it's just, like, Pierre Poilievre and his wife, Anita Poilievre. And then he was just explaining this while he was intoxicated on a stream that was just very, like, impromptu. Like, nobody planned this. It was just, like, a bunch of guys shooting the shit. Something that wasn't even being recorded to be, like, saved or anything. It was, like, a recording on Telegram, which means that it would have been deleted after. But because of the high profile that people like us have, people are constantly just screen recording us as we are going live. This whole stream right now is being recorded. It's being stashed into Antifa's little library of streams and whatnot. They're calculating just how much Ferryman is painting his racist figurines right now to see how racist it is. Like did one of his figurines have was their arm tilted too high on the figurine?
They're all named after Germans.
Oh no, that's horrible. Yeah, no, that
it's fucking Heinz Guderian right there in the tank.
Yeah. But you became the face of it because you were on the news laughing about it, like while he was talking about it. But the way the news went about it is like they took out all the context and they literally talked over it and blurred out everything. They talked over all the context And then they literally cut in the audio right back to when he says, "Let's rape her." So it cut out all the context of the joke, and then it had you as your face on it. So that was the original rhetorical rape joke. It was actually just a real rape joke. It wasn't even rhetorical rape. But, you know, it shows how much further they have gone in Australia, that they are literally throwing people in jail without bail. Joel is not getting bail because they think that if he gets out, he's going to make another rhetorical rape joke.
He's going to rhetorically rape half of fucking Australia.
He's not allowed out because they think he'll reoffend. And what is reoffending in this situation, again, is saying something offensive. It's not like he's going to pull a gun out on anybody or he's going to intimidate a victim. There was no victim, except for, I guess, this woman who claims she's being rhetorically raped. But, you know, you understand. We all understand how crazy this is and how much of a precedent this is and how anybody with any clear mind can understand that this was not a real threat. But they're going to make it out to be because they don't like the guy.
Yeah, the important thing to understand about why Joel was arrested in Australia is not the rhetorical rape comment. It's what happened a few days before that. The reason they arrested Joel Davis is because a few days before he made that comment, he went with, I think, 60 guys or something to the Parliament in New South Wales, and they put up a massive "Abolish the Jewish Lobby" banner. That's why Joel got arrested. The comment is just a pretext.
100%.
Am I frozen?
Not anymore. You're good. You have 3 minutes left, though, before it boots you again. Yeah. Well, no, that was a great point. And, yeah, that's how it is.
And, they know that that's not going to stick. They don't care. Again, these people are the most disgusting people ever.
Well, I saw that the Daily Mail was gloating about how they sent reporters to his baby mamas.
Yep.
Because he now has a child born in jail, and they purposely didn't allow him bail, like, before Christmas, while it was publicly known that he was about to have a child. So now we have supposed conservative news outlets going to his baby mama's house to go and confront her and humiliate her.
Well, they did the same thing to this didn't get brought up, I don't think, but or maybe you talked about it recently, but the guy Matthew Gruder there, the one who was deported to South Africa, it's very obvious what happened. The Australian media tipped off the Australian government tipped off the South African media when he was going to be arriving so that they could fucking bombard him at the luggage carousel. They did this on purpose. Like, this is the Australian government was trying to punish this guy and basically get him murdered. That's what they're trying to do. And you can see he's reacting aggressively towards them because he knows that that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get him and his family fucking killed in South Africa.
Look how many of them are there. Like, obviously they were tipped off. Yeah.
They wouldn't leave him alone. Like, this wife and kid, like, what is this going to achieve? Like, if you want to talk to him, why didn't you just ask to talk to him? You know what I mean? Like, why don't you go to him, like, or email him or whatever? And if he wants to talk to you, so, like, what is the point of doing it like this? Is to punish him, is to try and get him killed, is to try and get him assaulted, or to, plaster his face all over South African media so they could say, hey, here's this Nazi that was deported from Australia. All you, violent niggers who will kill somebody for no reason. Well, here you go. Here's one that you can kill for that reason.
Yep.
So, yeah, they're trying to get him killed.
You're gonna get booted any second.
Yeah. All right.
But, yeah.
Night, guys. Thanks for having me, Edgy. That was fun.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on, man.
I got a little painting done.
Yeah, you got a little painting done. Conquer Not Stolen. I love that sweater. If you guys want to get a sweater like Fairies, you can go on operationensign.ca. And I'll drop that in the chat right now. Apparently, they have a great deal going on right now where you could get all 3 of their designs. Here, I'm going to prop that up here. All 3 of their designs, so it's 2 t-shirts and a sweater for $100 and no shipping fees. So it's just $100 on the dot for 2 t-shirts and a sweater. Conquer Not Stolen sweater, Operation Ensign Millions Must Fly shirt, and then the Old Flag, Old Policy, Old Leader white shirt, all for $100 together. So yeah, you guys should check that out. I'm going to drop that in the restream chat so it gets to everybody. I see Jenstein is saying, shut the fuck up, Negro. CRJ is the CEO and sends a nice chat saying, rape is fun. I'm coming for you, Fairy. And yeah, the spelling there is very sus. But anyways, thank you very much. I appreciate that, Dr. Jenstein. So this was the Rhetorical Rape stream. Oh, somebody said, any news on Ensign Tukes? Yes, I've heard from an inside source that they will be coming soon. So, Red Ensign Tukes, coming soon. Look out for it, okay? But thank you all so much for coming out tonight. I'm going to wrap it up now. I got stuff to do tonight. Yeah, the night is still young, even though it's like almost 12:30 here tonight. But I'm glad I was able to make it on with you guys tonight. Cheers, everybody. And yeah, if there's one thing I could leave you off on is that you need to rhetorically rape your opponents. And don't let them take away your creativity like they did with Joel Davis. You know, he used the word rape. Like, rhetorically rape this MP, go and rape her comments. Yeah, maybe sometimes you should use a better word in order to not get the full dick of the law fucking you in the ass. Rhetorically, of course, right? But you should not also censor yourself and take away, like, your source of creativity and edginess in order to fight back against the system. Like, people love it. People love it when you just yell nigger at the top of your lungs. People love it when you just say something like that, which is against the social norms. People love it when you transgress against the artificial boundaries that the system puts against you. And if you could do it more creatively in a way that is more justified, then we need to keep doing that. Creativity is something that these people, these automatons, these authoritarian jackboot thugs who will not allow us to exist in our own homelands, they do not like creativity. And all this woke stuff, it's not creative. It's based on just like rainbows and how degenerate can you be, how much can you take it in the ass. That's not creativity. And especially when you involve something like truth, reality, and how we can move forward better into a positive future, and you bring creativity into that, and you bring creativity into how we make fun of our enemies, that is something that they do not have the capacity to understand or even fight back against. They say things like, oh, these guys are just using humor to disguise their real views, their real world views. They're using irony poisoning. They need to make up terms in order to talk about how we use comedy, we use creativity in order to fight back against them. And in the case like Joel Davis, they charged him for using the term rhetorical rape. But we actually do need to use terms like that and normalize them before they can take that away from us further down the line once they've already taken away our rights. We need to set those precedents now that, hey, we are jokers and we are serious. And we could talk like this and we could talk like that and we will defend ourselves on all fronts. And what the fuck are you going to do about it? Because we're certainly not going to go down without swinging. Just like Joel Davis and the NSN will not go down without swinging. And yes, we do need to apply rhetorical rape against all of the opinions that they have, that they use to demonize us, to stop us from being able to speak our minds, to stop us from being able to oppose this mass immigration that is going on. We need to be able to speak our minds as creatively as possible. So we need to maximize the amount of free speech that we have as well. So yeah, we have to fight this battle on all fronts. And challenging them at every level is good. You know, we don't need to overindulge on certain targets to take it to a point where it's criminal harassment. But yes, for sure, we can rhetorically rape them. We can, when they start telling lies, we can start telling truths at them in whatever way is necessary to make sure that everybody who is witnessing that argument in the public space can know that we are right, that other people will be humiliated in the public eye for telling such lies, for trying to oppose and humiliate our people, for telling the truth. This is what we got to do. We got to apply a full force rape, you know, balls deep, penetration, hand on the back of the neck while you're going dick down deep into that ass, and you gotta say, fuck yeah. I'm going to rhetorically rape my opinions so that everybody knows just how proud of my views I really am. And just, you know, it's rhetorical rape. That's what it is. It doesn't need to be perfect. It can be messy. It doesn't have to be a perfect soundbite. But it is what it is. Sometimes they get away, sometimes they don't. There you have it. I've been Edgy D. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Looks like the chat is going pretty wild. Pulling hair. Fuck yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so we have some final super chats from Jenstein. Man, I appreciate you so much, man. Thank you. He says, love you. Looking forward to raping you. Okay, yeah. We got it. That's a rhetorical rape, by the way. Jenstein did not actually rape me. I know that I went and visited him once, and I don't think there are pictures that have gone out there yet, but no, that never happened. I'm blocking it out of my mind. Anyways, thank you guys all for coming out and supporting the stream and enjoying it. Oh, we do have some Rumble chats. We have Donald Ductator saying, if Ferry were serious about spreading the gospel of a 40k Warhammer, he'd have a macro lens set up for a tight shot of his brushwork. Okay, yeah. So Ferry was clearly not doing his Warhammer 40k paintbrush work. He wasn't doing it justice. We have a real Warhammer 40k fan who's putting him to task, saying that he's a fucking poser. So I hope he hears that while he's brushing his little toys. And I hope he gets angry. And I hope he wants to rhetorically rape or kill you. Uncle Kenny says, did you hear it? It's the Pattern Lady was number 2 on the anti-Semite list. Yes, I did hear. So Miss Rachel, the child star, the child entertainment star, who does Circle, Circle, Square, It's a Pattern, that epic song that all the parents get to listen, that they get their children to listen to her when they don't want to take care of their own children. Yeah, Miss Rachel, she has a great show. She's apparently one of the top contestants for Anti-Semite of the Year. And I think it's because she had on a refugee child from Palestine, specifically Gaza, who was an amputee, and she was dancing along with her and, making her feel joy once again after getting her limbs blown off by Israeli IDF bombs. And I knew once I saw that clip that the Jews fucking hate this bitch. The Israelis must hate this Miss Rachel woman who's like, a child entertainer superstar, because she gave compassion to a Gaza refugee amputee child. This poor little girl got blown up by the Israeli bombs that have killed tens of thousands of children at this point since the October 7th war kicked off. And to rub that in the face of a Jew, that's another Holocaust. Oy vey! Oy vey! How dare you show what we've done to little children, blowing off their limbs. You, Miss Rachel, you are gonna be declared the top anti-Semite of the year. Oy vey, I can't believe it. We are the real victims here, not the little girl who got her arms blown off by our bombs that we killed tens of thousands of you little children. Fuck you. Anyways, thank you for bringing that up, Uncle Kenny, because I was going to get into that. But we're wrapping it up now. Uncle Kenny also says, the modern police force is a newer concept. Before that, men were the protectors of society. Yeah, well, we're talking about the old days now. Zeno says, when are we going to see some footage from that Western Alpine event that I definitely know nothing about and clearly wasn't at? Okay. Uncle Kenny saying, hey peeps, I appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. And Cocaine Rim Job, a perfect $1 super chat on Rumble. 66 cents. Maybe 69 cents. More fitting number. He says, hashtag no traps and hashtag no height in one stream. So he's talking about me and Fairy. He's saying no traps, Fairy is no traps, and no height, that I'm a fucking manlet. A fucking treat, and I can hate you both for $1. Okay, well, you can go fuck yourself, you fucking piece of shit. I hope you get literally raped by a pack of wild motherfucking... Yeah, you heard me. You heard me, mother... Alright, have a good night, guys. It's been a blessing. Here's some Art Lady piece to play you guys out.
Last time I talked to you, you were lonely and out of place. You were looking down on me, lost out in space. We're laid underneath the stars, strung out and feeling brave. Watch the red orange glow, watch you float away. Down here in the atmosphere, garbage and city lights. You're gonna save your tired soul, you're gonna save our lives. I turned on the radio to find you on satellite. I'm waiting for the sky to fall, I'm waiting for a sign. And all we are is all so far. You're falling back to me, the star that I can't see. I know you're out there, somewhere out there. You're falling out of reach, defying gravity. I know you're out there, somewhere out there. Hope you remember me when you're homesick and need a change. I miss your purple hair, I miss the way you taste. I know you'll come back someday, on a bed of nails I wait. I'm praying that you don't burn out or fade away. And all we are is all so far. You're falling back to me, the star that I can't see. I know you're out there, somewhere out there. You're falling out of reach, defying gravity. I know you're out there, somewhere out there. You're falling back to me, the star that I can't see.